Hello guys, welcome to another Headstone video, and in this video I'm gonna showcase and explain better my Shulker box loader design. I already did a block by block tutorial of this, so I'm gonna leave that link in the description, but here I'm gonna explain a little more in detail and also respond some comments in the tutorial video. So first of all, I'm gonna show the user interface here. So how this works is you have these shulker boxes that are actually being loaded by these hoppers here that come all the way from the filters up there, and your items are accessible here with the shulker box. So if you need only a few glass, for example, you can come here, right, in any of these shulker box and get the items. And if you need a full shulker box, they are stored in these barrels here. So for example, you need a full shulker box of yellow glass, you can come here in these barrels and grab your full shulker boxes, right? And you also have access to the dispenser here, but it's not really necessary to refill the dispensers in this design because it automatically refills. The only thing you need to refill is this empty shulker inputs. So you put a bunch of empty shulker boxes here, and if you eventually run out of shulker box, the light will go off here. And then you just need to come here and refill them. And of course you can have a bunch more of chassis here, right? Put more hoppers and more chassis here if you really need or really want, right? Yeah, in the input here I'm using this elevator here. So let's say for example if I input some orange glass here, so you get in this elevator and go to that upper line there, and the lamps indicates where we are currently filling here. But of course the input is whatever you want, right? You can have this hopper line coming from somewhere else, some other sorting system or whatever, or even you can have like a water stream here coming from a farm or something else, right? So yeah, the input is whatever you want. And yeah, here we have one slice here of the Shulker box loader. And if you watched my first video tutorial on this Shulker box loader, uh, you have everything from this row up here and this hopper in the barrel where the full Shulker box get. And the new part is from this line here below, right? Except for the hopper in the barrel. So this is what makes the automatic refill part that I will explain later. Yeah, so first I want to address two comments in the video. The first one is that about 3 minutes and 40 seconds into the video, the shulker boxes that are here, they just appear. So yeah, I forgot a clip there. So yeah, when they are like this, you need to come here and shift click in the dispenser to place the first shulker box. And yeah, make sure you are aiming at the dispenser so the shulkers can be opened like this. And the second comment is about the possibility of the shulkers when break get to another hopper instead of, let's say for example, I have this dirt shulker here. It could go to the cobblestone hopper or to the grass hopper. And I have to say that this is actually possible, but it's very hard to happen. And yeah, the comments say that this makes the design useless, but not really, right? Because uh, if that happens, your shulker with dirt will only gonna being this other barrel or this one, right? So it's not the end of the world, but yeah, also this is like extremely rare. I'm gonna activate here the uh, bounding box here so you guys can see. Let's just make like this. So yeah, when the shulker breaks, it immediately gets sucked up by this hopper. Yeah, so it can happen, and it did happen to me once, but that happened in a paper server. And yeah, so that might be some kind of configuration of the paper server that the hoppers maybe don't check for items as frequently or something like that. So yeah, but that can happen. So just that's all I have to say about that. Okay, now that we got those comments out of the way, I'm gonna explain each of these signs here, and also we'll provide again the world downloads if you guys wanna check this in more detail, right? So the first block here is the gold block, just saying to not forget to put blocks on the side of the first and the last slice. So uh, it's referring to this block here, that's right beside the shulker, the first shulker here, and this block here that's on the side of the last shulker. And that's because if you don't have this block here, it's possible that when the shulker gets filled, so let's see, we have two here, and if we fill this one, it's possible that it gets ejected to that side instead of this one. Yeah, it's not happening here, but it is possible to happen, so make sure you have a block here, just in case, right? Yeah, and another thing that I didn't uh, talk about in the block by block tutorial, but you have to make sure you always have empty shulkers here, because if a shulker breaks and doesn't get replaced, it will stay there and despawn with all your items inside. So yeah, that's a bad thing. So make sure you always have these empty shulkers here. That's why also we have this light to. Yeah, the next circuit here is the item input length control. So that's actually only these 4 blocks here, and it's only a repeater that uh, extends the signal when the clock here is working, and activate this lamp here just so you know that the items are going through the input elevator here. And yeah, this next circuit here is the item elevator. It's designed by Maizuma Games, so I already posted the link in the description of the tutorial, so I'm gonna post again if you guys wanna check. And yeah, the actual input is this hopper line, right? So you can input however you want, right? You can have a chest here, or you can have a hopper line coming from your farm or wherever, or even you can even use water strings. But I didn't want to use water strings here, just to make sure you can also build these in the nether if you want. But yeah, the input is whatever you like to do, right? And the next circuit is just the item filters, right? So here is easier to see. This is like the standard Impulse SV item filter, right? But yeah, you can use any item filter you want here, but it is mandatory to use an item filter because this design needs to collect only one item per shulker box, because it actually compares directly from the shulker box, not from the hopper that's filling, so it will only break the shulker box when it's full. So let's say you have two different items coming here or more, you can have some kind of uh, situation that you have something like this, that you have full stacks of light blue, for example, and you don't have full stacks of smooth stone. And if your hopper is full of light blue concrete, this will never fill up, so this choker will never break. That's why you need to have only one type of item here. The next circuit, the green circuit, is just named to see the items traveling. So it's just a comparator comparing the hopper line here. And this is actually optional, it's just for aesthetics. So let's demonstrate a little bit. So if you have some pink glass going through the system here, we will see that the lights will reach up to the pink glass, so we know that's what is filling right now. But it's optional, right? You might even have a different input, so this may be not even possible if you are using, for example, water streams as input, so it's optional. Yeah, now the blue circuit is the actually shulker box loader, right? So this is what detects that the shulker box is full and break it. So how this works is this idea here I took from Samus the Sage. I think this is he is the first one that came up with this. So you have this headstone block that's emitting signal 15 here. So this next headstone dust is signal 14. So this comparator that's comparing the shulker box to this block will only change this to 15 when the shulker box is full. And when that happens, these observers, this and that one, will detect. So we are talking about uh, the closed circuit here, right? So this observer powers this block, and then this repeater here powers the piston that breaks the box, and immediately after the piston breaks the box, this signal comes back to 14, and then detects again the piston retracts this slab here, and this observer here detects also the signal change, and emits a signal here that powers the dispenser to dispense a new shulker box, and also powers this middle dropper here that gets this shulker box here to the dispenser. And the next circuit is the lock and lock hoppers that receive shulker boxes, right? So is this bottom circuit here. So as I was saying, this observer observes the signal change here, and the signal goes through this other observer, and it does a quick push to this slime piston here that makes this observer powers this block here that will power the piston and make the redstone block stay here, so it will unlock the hopper here where the minecart comes to give a new shulker box, and at the same time the redstone link powers this dropper here, giving this shulker box to the middle dropper. So the middle dropper refills the dispenser, and this bottom dropper refills this dropper, and then the minecart comes here and refills this dropper. And when this redstone block powers this dropper here, this will empty. So what happens here is this comparator unpowers this piston. It removes, it retracts the redstone block here, powering the piston here, right? And the reason we need to have kind of two ways to power this piston is because one is when the shulker gets full, right? And the other is to make sure that this block of redstone is actually gonna be here until the minecart comes here and drop a new shulker, and then it refills the dropper, and the comparator powers the piston here, and the isolant goes down and power the piston back here. And this observer, it will go up and down, and there's not a problem that it's gonna be sometimes here and sometimes there, because when it gets a kick pulse again and gets put here, it will also power the piston the same way, same thing. And yeah, the next circuit is this orange one that activates the minecart. So as you can see here, the minecart is stopped here. There is a powered rail that's turned off there. And when one of these pistons retract the redstone block here, it will power this line, powering this torch, powering this torch here, and then powering this torch here that will power the rail and send the minecart there. And when the minecart gives a shulker box to the slice that retracts here, the block will, the piston will extend again, and the line will unpower again, unpowering the rail, so the minecart comes back here and stay here. So this orange circuit, I have to say two things about this. First, if you have more than 16 slices, here we have exactly 16 slices, right? And if you have more, you're gonna need to do this in a different way, because if we have like this last one here powered, you see that's the last one that can power the torch here. So let's say we had uh, another slice there, it wouldn't power the torch. So yeah, if you have more than 16 slices, uh, you're gonna need another way to power this, right? You can just move the torch block here and use another repeater or something like that, right? But also this orange circuit is not really necessary. You can just leave the minecart going back and forth, right? You don't really need uh, to make this orange circuit, because all the hoppers here are locked in ways, and when they unlock, the minecart will give a new shulker box, so it's actually not really necessary this circuit here. It's just a nice way to not have to hear the noises of the minecart all the time. And the last circuit here is just to detect when we are out of empty shulker box, because like I said, it's actually very important to not run out of empty shulker box, because that can cause you to lose a shulker box, right? So this the way this works is just a comparator here, and when this comparator changes the state, right? So let's simulate that we don't have any more shulker box. It will get detected by this observer that sends a pulse here, and the piston uh, pushes that block there, so this torch is not powering anymore that length. And as soon as we get a new item, it gives another pulse, and the piston retracts the block again, and now the torch is powering the block and powering the length, right? But yeah guys, that's it for the video. The block by block tutorial will be in the description. The world download of this world here will also be in the description. And yeah, I hope you guys learned a little bit more about how this system works, and that you can make your own in your world, right? So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.